And I had a question for later on, but I'm wondering how much the culture, because you mentioned during your FMX presentation the notion of Ubuntu,
Yes, Ubuntu,
if I
yes.
pronounce it well. Yeah. So wondering how much this translates within the team on site, because um, sometimes, based on my experience in different studio, different teams, from one show to another, the teams can be drastically different. Sometimes it's about, I just finished to read multipliers. So
Yes,
you have leaders
I love
that
that.
are
Yeah.
multiplier. Yeah. And other that are diminisher that just want to take control. It's almost like a mutinery
Yes.
on the show. It's like the best only survive kind of
Yeah.
type of approach. So I really lived those two things. And that's why I'm really curious about how Ubuntu
Yes.
would actually translate.
So Ubuntu is a African philosophy that loosely translated says, "I am because you are." And really what it speaks about is the correlation between us and our humanity. So everything that I do must reflect that humanity. When I'm annoyed with you, when I'm cross with you, when I require you to deliver a project, I have to always consider it from the perspective of, how am I affecting you as a person? And certainly when we're growing up, and I'll be honest, like from an African context, we are brought up in a collective mindset. While you're thinking about yourself, the first person you think about is the other person. Like, okay, how are they feeling? What is the reason that they're doing what they're doing? So we're brought up in a highly communitarian or collective culture. And I'll give you an example, even when we were growing up. So I grew up in Soweto. If you're walking down the street and you were doing something naughty, any mother who was from that area, if they saw you doing it, they could slap you or they could tell you off, because for them, you are, it's sort of like that whole thing about a child is raised by a village. And
Village,
we
yeah.
still live in that kind of mentality. So even when we are in workplaces, we import that mentality of Ubuntu across the board, of trying to understand the other person from their perspective and where they come from. And for me, it's really important, especially when it comes to storytelling as well, because for us to be able to get stories that are highly authentic and that are nuanced and that are different and that share a kind of like a different perspective, we have to integrate Ubuntu across everything that we do, not just in our policies at work. It's how we tell stories, it's how we treat each other. So it's a philosophy that runs through our lives, to be honest. And sometimes it's shocking. I'll give you another example, that when I met Rob, when he would trip on something, like we're walking and then he trips, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like, "But you didn't do it. You didn't do. Why are you saying sorry?" I'm like,
Yeah.
we grew up where you empathize with the other person and you're invested in their growth and in their, sometimes even in their pain, because we are so connected as humanity. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I think that's really how we are socialized. And so, in a sense, that's also how we do our business. That's how we run our studio and how we want to grow and be sustainable as a business. So, yeah.
It's really weird to me, coming from a French background and also part German. It feels to me that we all want that, but we're not able to live it. So what you just described, I think, is really at the core of everyone in Germany and France really like, especially around in France, around dinner or lunch. It's like, that's the moment where we lose, let's say, the behavior, and we just try to be as natural as possible and really care for each other. But somehow then when you're back to reality, you play that game and you not allow yourself to show that you care for others. It's like a strength to be individual. But I don't think it's the nature of who we are compared to what you described. It's like you kept you remove the layer that doesn't help.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Look, I mean,
that's pretty cool.
I love that in the sense that, in one sense, I mean, like having interacted quite a lot with Germans as well as with French people and just Europeans in general. I think for me, I see sometimes the yearning of that community, but I also think due to I think the pressing needs of society where you can't show your emotions. And I guess also for men, more so for men, like you can't show your emotions. And why would you care about someone you don't know if you're not connected by blood? Why are you bothered by that person? It's a waste of time and all of that. But for us, we believe in, and I guess also that's what I was trying to get across in my presentation. We believe in a connectedness, even with nature, that even if I don't know you, where you're from, for me, you're essentially still my brother. It doesn't matter, or you are another human that's connected to me one way or another, even though we may not share the same surname and all of that. And nothing is taken away from me by helping you or by engaging with you.